Shadows of New York. Chapter 1. The chase begins. Detective John Mitchell had seen his fair share of bizarre cases, but nothing quite like the letter that arrived one cold January morning. It was early 2010 in New York, a city perpetually shrouded in a haze of possibilities and dangers. John was a private investigator, a former NYPD detective who had left the force under contentious circumstances. Now, just working cases that range from mundane to mildly intriguing. This letter, however, promised something different. The letter arrived without fanfare, slipped under his apartment door sometime during the night. The envelope was plain, unmarked, but the paper inside was an expensive heavy stock, the kind reserved for important missives. The letter itself was handwritten in a neat, almost mechanical script. Detective Mitchell, the Chinese ambassador will be murdered unless you solve a series of 7 riddles. Each riddle would lead you closer to the truth. Fail, and the ambassador dies. Succeed, and you will save a life, and possibly prevent a war. Your first riddle awaits below. In a city of dreams where towers touch the sky, find the symbol of truth where the shadows lie. Your move, detective. There was no signature, no indication of who had sent the letter, or why John had been chosen. The ambiguity was both frustrating and intriguing. A small part of him wondered if this was some elaborate prank or a misguided cry for attention. After all, people did crazy things for a variety of reasons. However, the stakes mentioned in the letter were too high to dismiss casually. The Chinese ambassador was a significant figure, and any harm coming to him would have dire consequences. John knew that the political climate was tense. Relations between the United States and China had always been complex, fraught with economic rivalries and political disagreements. An assassination of such a high-profile figure on American soil could be seen as an act of war. The thought sent a chill down his spine. Even if there was a slight chance this letter was real, the risk would be too great to ignore. He spent the morning contemplating the riddle, pacing his small apartment. New York, a city of dreams where skyscrapers reached towards the heavens. Shadow and truth. His mind sifted through the countless landmarks, places of significance where the truth and shadows might intersect. After hours of deliberation, he had an epiphany. The Statue of Liberty, a symbol of truth and freedom, casting long shadows over Liberty Island. John hurriedly grabbed his coat and set out. The cold wind of the Hudson River bit through his clothing as he boarded the ferry to Liberty Island. The city skyline receded, the monumental statue growing larger with each passing minute. He scanned the area meticulously upon arrival, examining every nook and cranny, searching for any clue that might point him to the next riddle. Hours passed with no success, frustration mounting as the day waned. As the last ferry prepared to leave, a glint of something metallic caught his eye near the base of the statue. He approached cautiously, his pulse quickening. It was a small, ornate box, hidden in the shadows. He pried it open to find a slip of paper inside. Riddle 2. Where knowledge is stored and secrets are kept, seek the whispering books where the wise have wept. The New York Public Library, John thought instantly. His heart pounded as he realized this was just the beginning. Chapter 2. The Library's Secret. Returning to Manhattan, John's mind raced. The New York Public Library, a repository of knowledge and a haven for secrets, seemed an obvious next step. The library's iconic lions, patience and fortitude, stood sentinels as he approached the grand structure. The whispering books, the quiet halls where scholars pondered life's mysteries, this had to be the place. Inside, he was greeted by the familiar scent of old paper and polished wood. The main reading room, with its vast array of books and hushed atmosphere, was both inviting and intimidating. John wandered through the aisles, the weight of his task pressing down on him. He searched for hours, his eyes scanning titles, his mind racing to interpret the riddle. Finally, in a secluded corner of the library, he found an old, worn book titled Whispers of Time. It seemed out of place among the more modern volumes. He pulled it from the shelf, and a folded piece of parchment fell to the floor. He picked it up, his hands trembling slightly. another riddle was inscribed on the parchment. Riddle 3. In the heart of the city, where the heartbeat never ends, find the silent guardian where the ancient spirit bends. John sat back contemplating this new clue. The heart of the city, a place with constant motion, an ancient spirit. He thought of the hustle and bustle of Times Square, the convergence of energy and history. But the silent guardian? His mind wandered to the myriad of statues and hidden corners of Central Park, a place where the city's pulse intertwined with nature's slow rhythm. The Bethesda Terrace, with its Angel of the Waters statue, a silent guardian overlooking the lake. Yes, that felt right. Chapter 3. The Guardian's Gaze. As dawn broke over the city, John made his way to Central Park, his destination clear in his mind. The Bethesda Terrace was serene in the early morning light, the angel statue casting a reflecting gaze over the still waters of the lake. Tourists had yet to arrive, leaving the area unusually quiet. John approached the statue, examining it closely. The intricate details, the serene expression, it all seemed to hold a secret. As he circled the statue, he noticed an inscription at the base, barely visible unless one looked closely. He knelt, tracing the words with his fingers, revealing a small compartment. Inside, another slip of paper. Riddle 4. Above the city where the brave once flew, seek the towering heights for the next hidden clue. John mulled over the riddle. The Empire State Building, a symbol of the city's resilience and ambition, seemed the logical next step. But something about the riddle nagged at him. Where the brave once flew could refer to several places in a city so intertwined with history and monumental events. Chapter 4. The Empire State Go Around. John decided to follow his first instinct and headed for the Empire State Building. The skyscraper loomed over the city, a testament to human ingenuity and ambition. As John entered the building, the crowds and the noise seemed distant, his focus entirely on his mission. He took the elevator to the observation deck, the city sprawling below him in every direction. Here, where the brave once flew. The test pilots and adventurers who had dared to touch the sky. John scanned the area, feeling the pressure of time. His eyes fell on a plaque commemorating the building's history. He read through the inscriptions, searching for anything out of the ordinary. Hours ticked by without any progress. The more he searched, the more he doubted his initial choice. It wasn't until late afternoon, weary from the fruitless search, that he reviewed the riddle again. Above the city where the brave once flew might not refer to heights alone. John thought of the brave who had flown not in planes or from skyscrapers, but those who had taken leaps of faith in different forms. Immigrants arriving at Ellis Island, seeking new lives, or perhaps the intrepid explorers of the 1964 World's Fair in Flushing Meadows, where groundbreaking technological marvels had once inspired the world. John realized he might have been too narrow in his thinking. He reviewed the other historical sites where courage and ambition had left their mark on the city. The Unisphere at Flushing Meadows, a symbol from the 1964 World's Fair, seemed a promising alternative. Chapter 5. The Unisphere's Shadow. John felt a renewed sense of urgency as he made his way to Flushing Meadows in Queens. The Unisphere, a massive stainless steel globe, stood as a relic of the past, a symbol of hope and progress. It was late afternoon when he arrived, the sun casting long shadows across the park. He walked around the Unisphere, examining the area closely. The riddle had mentioned towering heights, and although the Unisphere wasn't as tall as the Empire State Building, it represented the dreams of the brave who had envisioned a united world. John's persistence paid off when he found a small metal box cleverly concealed at the base of the structure, hidden among the overgrown shrubs. With a mixture of relief and anticipation, he opened it to find another slip of paper. Riddle 5. In the artist's haven, where creativity flows, find a hidden message where the red rose grows. Greenwich Village, a haven for artists and bohemians, filled his thoughts. The neighborhood, with its winding streets and eclectic vibe, seemed the perfect place for the next clue. John felt a sense of urgency. Time was slipping away, and the ambassador's life hung in the balance. Chapter 6. the village's veil. Greenwich Village, with its rich tapestry of creativity and history, offered a stark contrast to the towering heights of the Empire State Building. John wandered through its narrow streets, passing galleries, cafes, and bookstores, each a testament to the neighborhood's artistic soul. He knew he was looking for a red rose, a symbol hidden among the vibrant life of the village. After hours of searching, he found himself in a small, unassuming garden tucked away behind a wrought iron gate. It was a place of tranquility amid the city's chaos, and there, among the blooming flowers, was a single red rose. He approached cautiously, knowing by now that nothing was ever as simple as it seemed. However, beneath the rose, he discovered a small, weathered box. Inside, of course, another slip of paper. The sixth riddle. Where the fallen are remembered, in a field of green, seek the stone that stands where the courage is seen. John's mind immediately went to many memorials scattered throughout the city. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Lower Manhattan, with its solemn reflection of courage and sacrifice, seemed a fitting next step. He felt the weight of each riddle, each clue bringing him closer to a truth he could almost grasp. Chapter 7. The Fallen's Field. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial, a place of honor and remembrance, stood in stark contrast to the bustling city around it. John walked among the names etched in stone, feeling the gravity of their sacrifice. The field of green, a solemn place where the fallen were remembered, was tranquil. He searched the memorial, his eyes scanning for stones, for anything that might stand out. It was a long and meticulous process, but he finally found it. A small hidden compartment behind one of the stones. Inside, the seventh riddle. In the end of the journey, where the water meets the land, seek the final truth where the lighthouse stands. John felt a surge of adrenaline. The journey was nearing its end, the final riddle pointing him towards the coastal edges of the city. The lighthouse, at the edge of Staten Island, where the waters of the Atlantic met the land. That seemed the logical conclusion. He knew that this would be the most challenging part yet. Chapter 8. The Lighthouse's Light. The Staten Island Lighthouse, a beacon guiding ships through treacherous waters, stood as a symbol of hope and safety. John arrived as dusk settled over the city, the lighthouse's beam cutting through the gathering darkness. He climbed the winding stairs, each step echoing his determination and the culmination of his journey. At the top, he found a small room filled with navigational equipment and charts. Amidst the clutter, he discovered a final small box. His heart pounded as he opened it, revealing a letter. Detective Mitchell, congratulations. You have completed the test. This was not about an ambassador's life, but about your ability to decipher, deduce, and persevere. You have proven yourself worthy. We would like you in our organization. Your journey begins now. Signed, The Agency. John stood there, the realization sinking in. This entire ordeal had been a test, a way to measure his worthiness for something greater. As he looked around the room, he noticed more details that he initially missed. Symbols, documents scattered among the charts, all hinting at the true nature of this agency. The agency itself was little known, except for the people in his trade, being a highly secretive organization operating in the shadows to prevent global catastrophes. Comprised of former intelligence officers, military strategists, and elite operatives, the agency handled high-stakes operations that governments couldn't publicly acknowledge. Their mission was to maintain global stability by thwarting threats before they could escalate into open conflicts. Their methods were unorthodox, their actions covert, and their existence known only to a select few. As he looked out over the city, the lights shimmering below, John knew his life had just taken a turn into the unknown. The mysteries he would face next would be more challenging, but he was ready. The night was still. The lighthouse, a solitary guardian over the restless waters, much like John Mitchell over the city. He pocketed the letter, the dawn of a new chapter in his life beginning as the city lay ahead, filled with endless possibilities and unseen threats. If you've enjoyed this story and would like to hear some more, do let us know in the comments below. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us a lot. Thanks.